So there's more to what I want to say about what's happening in Wyoming and democracy. So here's some additional information. I just got off my live, but then I was like, there's more to this. So when everyone registers Republican until they don't, this week's Democracy Damage Report comes to you live from the great state of Wyoming, where the 2026 primary ballot just dropped, and with it, the slow motion implosion of two long-standing political myths. For decades, Wyoming politics has run on two pieces of folk wisdom. The only way to get elected in Wyoming is to be a Republican, and if you want to influence the election, register Republican and vote in the GOP primary. These sayings have been repeated so often they've become civic scripture, whispered at county fairs, muttered at branding tables, and printed on bumper stickers next to this truck climbed Gannett Peak. But the 2026 primary roster tells a very different story. Myth 1, you have to be a Republican to win. The ballot is so saturated with Republicans that half of them may need to carpool to the unemployment office by August. Just look at the House race. Bo Beitman, Chuck Gray, Frank Chapman, Jillian Barlow, Keith Goodenow, Kevin Christensen, Reed Rasner, Richard Dawson, Steve Freeze, David Garrott. Folks, not all of them are going to win. Only one of them is going to win. So all the rest are registered Republican and going to lose. This is not a primary. That's a family reunion where everyone showed up wearing the same shirt and nobody wants to sit next to Uncle Chuck. And it's not just Congress. The state legislative races are bursting at the seams. House District 29, 3 Republicans. House District 30, 2 Republicans. House District 31, 2 Republicans. House District 37, 3 Republicans. House District 52, 2 Republicans. Senate District 5, 4 Republicans. Senate District 21, 2 Republicans. Senate District 25, 2 Republicans. The ballot reads like the world's least fun phone book. When a single party becomes the only viable lane, the real competition moves inside the party. The GOP chooses who the winner is. And suddenly, being Republican isn't a guarantee of anything except a crowded inbox and a yard sign bill that could fund a small school district. Stop with the yard signs, people. They're only ending up in the landfill. Myth number 2, register Republican so you can influence the primary. This one has been Wyoming's unofficial civic strategy for years, and it worked until it didn't. Because when everyone registers Republican, the primary stops being a party contest and becomes a statewide demolition derby. The result? Republicans are now primarily competing against other Republicans. Democrats lose members, funding, and representation. Third parties lose funding, members, and representation. The state drifts into a de facto one-party system. And here's the kicker. When the field gets this crowded, crossover voters don't influence the primary. They get lost in the stampede. The 2026 ballot shows dozens of Republicans who simply won't survive the primary. Not because of Democrats, not because of independents, but because the GOP ballot has become a political Hunger Games. As one line from the 2026 Wyoming primary election, it says, there are more Republicans running than there are chairs when the music stops. The roster remains unofficial and may not reflect the certified list. But even the unofficial list makes one thing clear. There are more Republicans running than there are chairs when the music stops. The consequences, a one-party system that starts to eat itself. When one party becomes the only game in town, it stops functioning like a party and starts functioning like a pressure cooker. Factions multiply. Loyalty tests intensity. Fringe candidates slip through. Experienced lawmakers get primaried by people who learned government from YouTube. And voters, they lose meaningful choice. Hi, you guys. Donkey? Yeah. Actually, I'm more like a moose. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mobile. Said hi. Hi back. Monkey. Donkey. No, dudes, you're getting it wrong. I'm a moose. When one party becomes the only, I'm going to read this again just because I read those comments. The Democratic Party, meanwhile, has been starved of oxygen. Okay, when one party becomes the only game in town, it stops functioning like a party and starts functioning like a pressure cooker. I am repeating this. Factions multiply, loyalty tests intensity, fringe candidates slip through, experienced lawmakers get primaried by people who learned government from YouTube, and voters, they lose meaningful choice and voice. The Democratic Party, meanwhile, has been starved of oxygen. Fewer candidates, fewer donors, fewer seats at the table. That's not healthy for democracy, no matter your political stripe. But here's the twist. This year's ballot shows the limits of the just register Republican strategy. When the primary becomes a 40-car pileup, strategic voters can't steer the outcome. They can barely find the road. So my democracy damage report final assessment, Wyoming's 2026 primary is a political equivalent of overgrazing. Too many candidates crowded into one pasture, not enough competition across the fence line, and now the land is showing stress. The myths that built this system are cracking. Being Republican is no longer a guarantee of victory. Registering Republican is no longer a guarantee of influence. And a one-party system is no longer stable. It's cannibalizing itself. The result? A whole lot of candidates are about to discover that the real danger wasn't Democrats. It was the math. Alexa, will you play some music? I'll come back.
Amazon Music.
Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Appreciate the comments. I really appreciate the likes.